Slayer Sleepy, Sleegey little guy, Eeby Neeby Sleepy.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan. What are you doing?
It's just, I can see. I know it doesn't matter.
No, why didn't?
But I can see it.
Before we were.
I don't know. Let's just punch in a little bit.
Towards you a little. No.
I'm just going to punch in a tiny bit. And that way we won't have the desk clutter and everything will be straight. No one will know.
You can't
How
see
would they
that
know?
I'm double bevin then?
How would they know?
What, are you not going to show them that I'm double bevin it today?
That's up to you to share. I would never force that information.
Anthony. Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh. Okay, leave it. Stop touch.
Leave it. I would never
Stop touch.
Stop touch.
Anyways, hi everyone. Good morning. It's very good to see you. We love our cables. We love the outlet.
Everybody who's been complaining about being able to see those
Shut up.
cables, just shut up.
Shut up and look at us.
Hey, if you're looking at the cables, then we're not doing our jobs. And don't you ever tell us we're not doing our jobs.
Ever.
Don't you ever tell us.
Ooh, don't you dare.
I swear.
Oh, don't you
If
fucking.
you
I
even,
swear to God.
if you even look in the direction of me or the cables or this show or anything in the world.
Wait, we want him to look at the show.
Look at the show.
I went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday.
Oh.
I
Green
did.
sleeves and whatnot. How was it?
It was very fun, except being somebody who still has some stuff left over from having COVID, made the Ren Fair complicated a few times over.
Yeah. She means she's still contagious.
I don't. That's
she
not
does
funny.
not mean
It's
that.
not
She
funny.
doesn't
It's
mean
been
that.
weeks.
She doesn't mean that.
That is not funny.
She's contagious with something else.
Get wrecked, Anthony. My lungs are still fucked up from COVID.
Yeah.
And you're just breathing in dirt all day.
Yeah.
You're just breathing
Here's
in
the
the
thing
dirt.
about the Renaissance Fair. Whenever you see pictures of the Renaissance Fair pictures are from like knees up.
Because your shoes, just dirt.
Because it's just in a dirt pile.
Yeah.
They throw that giant, lovely Renaissance Fair in a big old dirt pile.
Yes. I also am laughing at Brittany here saying, it's the infectious laughter. Her smile is contagious. Fucking got him. And then there's all the sweepiness.
Oh.
And then there's just simply the fact that I'm sweepy.
You're just sweepy all the time.
Yeah.
Just
in
tired.
addition to that, you walk around a lot. On
Does the
uneven
fox
ground.
need to go sleegey?
Like in addition to that, you're a little bit sweepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fox just a sleepy little guy?
Yeah.
Eby and Neeby to sleepy?
Eeby neeby to sleepy.
Mmm.
So that was me yesterday. I was kind of Eeby neeby to sleepy. But I had a very good time.
Yeah?
Yeah. I bought antlers.
Great.
Everyone said I was wearing a Sweet Tooth cosplay. I've never actually watched Sweet Tooth, but I get the idea.
Great show. Just renewed for a third and final season.
First bit of news.
There it is. You got some news.
That's
Go
the
away.
News. Now we don't have to do any
Go
other.
away.
Everything else we want to talk about can just
Don't
be like,
look at. Don't you look at me or the show or these cables
or Sweet Tooth
or Sweet Tooth or the
any
Renaissance
news.
Fair or anybody below the knees. Don't you look at anybody below the knees. We're going back to 1920s rules. What are you looking at knees for? You've got a wife. Yeah.
Maybe to sleepy. You know what I mean?
I know. Let me put
Mute
my
your
phone
phone.
on silent.
Mute your phone.
Let me put. Wait, actually, hello. It's the president of Renaissance Fairs.
Did you like my outfit?
He said you had an excellent Sweet Tooth costume.
Fuck.
But it was a little off theme.
All right.
That's okay. My friend went, and she was in her her Renaissance garb, and I didn't know the Renaissance Fair was happening, and I was like, "Are you a medieval Bowsette?"
Terrible.
And she was like, "That's actually a really good idea for a costume." That's not bad.
The Renaissance Fair is where once a year, this Renaissance Fair in particular, is where once a year, every nerd in this city runs into each other, and it isn't Comic-Con, so we aren't all working. It's like the exact same thing. It's the exact same people you will run into at a convention. Like you'd run into it at WonderCon, at Comic-Con, right? But none of us are working.
I only find out about the Renaissance Fair by seeing pictures of everybody I know at the Renaissance Fair.
Do you want to go to the Renaissance Fair?
And then I wonder why nobody ever invites me to the Renaissance Fair. And it happens every year. And I'm starting to get really weird about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel really weird about
Buddy,
it.
you got to tell us you want to go to the Renaissance
I
Fair.
say every year I want to go to the Renaissance. Yes,
say
I do.
year.
Every year I'm just like, oh, the Renaissance Fair is happening. I've never been. I'd like to
How
go
come
to the
you don't know
Renaissance
when the
Fair.
Renaissance Fair is happening.
I don't know, because I guess I'm not into it enough to know when it's going on. But
Everyone
I never
else
know
I
when
know is like, I want to go to the Renaissance Fair. We got to go to the Renaissance Fair.
I never know when it is. I never know when anything is, though. I don't know when, I'm not a person who knows when events are happening. So I find out when I see pictures of people at things and I go, oh, fuck.
There, champ. Learn when the Renaissance Fair is.
I guess.
I guess like fucking figure it out.
I guess, right?
We'll go to the Renaissance
Then
Fair.
just go alone and meet up with people, I guess.
Kind of actually what most of us do.
Yeah, did you go alone?
I went with Kaylee. Look, Anthony, you weren't here on Friday when we did the best worst episode of Failed Save we've ever done. That's when we decided to go to the Renaissance Fair.
That's lovely.
And you were being eepy sweetie.
It was an EB who needy to sleepy. That's okay. We die alone, so it's fine.
The drama of a boy who don't even know when the Ren Fair is.
Last Renaissance Fair I went to was in the 4th grade, and I wanted to dip my hand into wax, but it was too expensive. I didn't have the money to dip my hand into wax, and so I haggled with a guy who was doing the wax. People wouldn't even look at me. They were like the most popular booth at the fair.
Wow.
They wouldn't haggle.
I don't even think we have that.
But there was a guy who pressed art into wet leather.
Uh-huh.
And it was like really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough money for that either. And he was like, listen, I have some scrap leather. I was 9 years old. He was like, I have some scrap leather. If you take this scrap leather back and back to the hose and soak it and bring it back, I'll make you something. And so there I was, dressed in like my medieval peasant outfit, running a literal errand with somebody in the marketplace because I haggled. I was on a little quest.
Oh, that's adorable.
It was very adorable, and I got a little dragon, and it was a dragon. It had flames behind it. It was very cool looking. It was
That's
very
very
exciting.
cute. Hey, you know what else you got? We both got presents.
We both got presents.
Now, everyone, don't, please,
What?
Anthony.
Great.
We both received some presents in the mail
Yeah.
because, in the funniest way, recently I received a tweet
Whoa. Very strange.
at me from the company that makes our favorite toy, the Retroid.
Yeah, our little Retroids. Now, as you know, I am the little prince of handhelds.
Of course he is.
I have many, many handheld gaming devices. And they all work for me, and I grade them all, and I rule over them like a little lord.
Like a little prince.
And we have to say that we keep saying over and over again, we've bought 2 Retroids now.
Mhm.
Every time we get one, we're like, these are the best value for money little handhelds you can get.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We literally never shut up about it.
Mhm.
And it happens to be that my Twitter header photo is of my Retroid because it made me giggle. It's, it's my favorite game. I feel like this tells you everything you need to know about what you're going to get from my Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my Retroid. We have the Pocket 2 Plus because of the touchscreen upgrade.
Did somebody get you a little pink kitty analog stick cover?
Yeah, my best friend got that for me.
Oh, that's nice.
What
What a nice person.
It's whatever. So we have matching Retroids. Anthony has the pastel blue. I have the pastel pink of the 2 Plus. Anyways, Retroid tweets at me and is like, hey, is that a freaking Retroid in your photo? And I was like, yeah, it's a freaking Retroid.
Yeah.
And then they
What
were
do you
like,
want to fight about it?
yeah. And they were like, that's cool.
Like, it is cool. Do you want to fight about it?
And they were like, we
Saige
want to.
kept asking the Retroid people to fight her.
I did. And that's expected of me. And then instead of fighting me, they said, can we send you Retroid 3s? Pocket 3 Pluses.
The 3 Plus.
And then they did.
And then they did.
No, and then they straight up did.
And they were like, which one do you like? And we were both like, little GameCube.
Independently, we both answered GameCube.
Yeah. We want the one that looks like a GameCube.
It's the colors of the GameCube, everyone. Look at it. It looks like a GameCube controller.
It's a little GameCube.
You know what? We should have brought our 2 Pluses to compare.
Yeah.
I forgot to do that.
These are actually, or a Switch. If we had a Switch, that would be perfect. This is an iPhone 14 Pro. Not a Pro Max. Saige has the Pro Max.
I do have the Pro Max.
But they're small. The Retroid, it's small.
That was the thing I always loved about it. For trips where I am on a short trip, I'm always taking my Retroid instead of my Switch. If I am on a longer trip, I'm taking my Retroid and my Switch because it takes up so little space.
The Retroid's like the size of a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
It's like real small.
It's really, I would say about Game Boy Advanced, I would say it's like just about the size of my phone, the like 2 Plus. This one's a tiny, tiny bit taller, but about the same width as my phone, which is really nice. But it also always has more games on it than anything else I own.
Yeah.
Consistently. We're not sponsored, to be clear.
We're not sponsored.
They just gave us Retroid, so they're not sponsoring the episode. We don't have to do this, but we really fucking like our Retroids.
I got everything on this thing.
We got ours in 2020, I want to say.
Yeah.
Initially.
No eyeballs here.
Okay, yeah, do
No
the beauty
face.
influencer thing.
No faces.
You gotta do the beauty influencer
Never a
thing.
face.
If you put more hands, maybe it'll help.
There we go.
Literally disappearing.
Get fucked.
So what does this run up to? So Anthony went and set these up for us.
They'll run basically GameCube and then some Wii and some PS2.
Yeah.
But I didn't go through and like find all the Wii and PS2 games that would run. I just basically loaded us up through GameCube.
This is such a nice interface. This is
so-
the first time I'm getting to play with it for real right now because we got them in the mail and then I was going to say, let's unbox them on the show. And then Anthony said, no,
set them up
set them up.
so we can show people that they all work. 2 different interfaces. I set them up 2 different ways. Yours has the built-in Retroid interface, which is new for the
Really
3
nice.
and the 3 Plus. It's really nice. It's very like Switch. It looks kind of like the Switch home screen. It's very tile-based and it's very easy to set up. And it's basically like it sets up all your folders and your SD card for you.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and then mine I set up with the Hyper Nerd setup,
What'd you
which
choose?
which is a platform called Daijisho, which is like heavily customizable but requires a million years of work because I'm an insane person.
But look at all my GameCube games. Why focus on yours there? Wow.
It's pretty
fine.
nice.
I'm very, very excited about it. I've played through pretty much every GameCube game that would run on the 2 Plus. I played through all of them.
We did some hacking to make GameCube work on that thing.
Yeah, we did.
I spent a couple hours just making sure that Animal Crossing worked consistently and not crashing because we both wanted Animal Crossing very badly. With this, you don't really have to do that. It was nice.
Yeah.
You're able to play all of your legally backed up games from your library.
Get on My Swan said, I want the new Retroid Flip so bad. The Flip is so
cool.
so rad.
The Flip is so cool. The Flip is
very
like
cool.
a DS. So it looks like a 3DS, and it's a little clamshell. I love a clamshell device.
Same. So, CDandino asked a few questions, which were very valid. Said, I legitimately don't know, is this a ROM device?
Yes, you can play all your legally backed up games on it.
And then does it do older consoles as well? So yeah, you get from essentially for the beginning of games up to around GameCube, PS2.
Yeah.
And it depends on the game and like what the intensity of it is, and that's why it's like up to around there.
This is my Nintendo collection. It's got a Mega Man on it. It's got a Mega Man on it.
So yeah, you can have everything on here. I've got Game Boy Advanced, N64, Nintendo DS, because you can also rearrange how you see the displays on it. So you can do side-by-sides. This one's a nice wide display. I think that'll be a lot easier to do side-by-side on them than our little 2 Plus. Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, NES, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, Is freaking great.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
The nice thing is it's a touchscreen as well,
Yeah.
which the Retroid 2 wasn't, but the Retroid 2 Plus was, which is nice for DS stuff.
Yeah. But Nintendogs, yeah. No, you can straight up play Nintendogs.
Oh, you can absolutely play
You can
Nintendogs.
100% play Nintendogs. And you could on the 2 Plus, and I tried to, but the displays were just a little too small.
Yeah, I played some DS stuff on the 2 Plus. It had like a small 4x3 screen because it's tiny. It's like literally you can throw it in a pocket. But you have to do a lot of.
That's where it gets the name.
That's where it gets the name. But all I basically played on it were like the 2D Castlevania games for the DS, stuff
That
like
makes
that.
sense. And stuff where it's not like super reliant on that like touch screen.
Yeah, and there's like a no touch hack for Dawn of Sorrow
Nice.
because there are like 3 places in Dawn of Sorrow where it's like now tap, and it's
Yeah.
just like fuck you, I'm playing Castlevania.
Let me just play Castlevania.
I'm not gonna tap anything. That's
not
trash.
Anthony,
Yes, Sage,
thank you for setting these up.
you're very welcome.
We love our Retroids. And thank you to Retroid for sending us these that owns. And we love to have matching things. We really do. The matchiest of friends there ever was.
Truly.
So now we have our little GameCube looking consoles.
The only problem is when they're together and they're turned off. Like a couple times, I was like, which one is?
which?
Oh no!
We'll get little like thumb.
We'll put the little thumb
We'll
stickies
put
on.
little thumb stickies on so you can tell the difference to make them just slightly different. Like weird twins. When it's like matching but slightly off.
Yeah.
That's us.
Skywalker's like, does it have a mic though? Yeah. We wouldn't say that something could play Nintendogs without a mic. We would never do that. A very important part of playing Nintendogs is being like, hey, Nintendog. Hey,
It is.
this is what it sounds like when I'm being nice to you, Nintendog. Don't run away. Don't you run away.
That's exactly how everyone talked to their Nintendog. CNDino said, okay, I'm in. Once I have money, that's awesome. And here's the freaking wild part of it. And again, not sponsored. They're not paying us to say this. We don't have to say this. It's a really good price.
Yeah, 119 is good.
Let's see. What was the 3.2? 129. That's the 3 plus 32 gig. And you can choose what your internal storage is. You can put a micro SD in it. It's really good. Our colorway, of course, indigo.
It's got clickies.
Yeah.
My second choice would have been the 16-bit.
Yeah.
The one that looks like a little SNES.
It's also really good, right?
Yeah.
I thought about it and then I was like, oh, I wonder if the gray will start to look dirty at any point like the SNES did. Like everything from the NES and SNES did.
Yeah.
So I landed on indigo for that reason. I don't know if that's the case, but that was my thought process behind it because I like the retro one. Like that's a great colorway.
Yeah, a little NES one. That's nice
These
too.
are really great.
I also do like the orange as somebody who always secretly really liked the Spice Orange GameCube, but it's really more of a yellow orange.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
a
not
yellow
quite
orange.
the Spice Orange of the GameCube.
No, that's like Pikachu colored, it looks like.
I think that photo's bad.
The white is also really nice.
Yeah.
They're all really nice, quite simply. But this one looks like GameCube.
Yeah.
They're all nice, but this one looked like GameCube.
I think my other choice would have been they had like a Fantastic Atomic Purple one. You remember when they were doing?
I don't see that one on here.
I think it's
feel like
sold
when we
out
first
now.
looked, yeah. Because when we looked initially, it was on there.
Yeah, they had a transparent purple and a watermelon.
Oh, the watermelon wasn't there when I looked.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, watermelon I think sold out first.
Of course.
Yeah, those Fantastic N64 colors.
So cool.
So cool.
Hey,
Anyway,
Anthony, I know it's not the news, but while we're talking about all this stuff, it feels like the next thing to do.
are you going to talk about how we're 5 days away from Zelda?
No.
We are.
I mean, I am going to talk about Zelda.
Okay. Because we're 5 days away from Zelda.
But I mean the Zelda that was announced at Japan's Spaceworld 2000.
Oh, are you talking about the Spaceworld bait and switch where they showed us something that looked like Twilight Princess, but then a couple years later they released Wind Waker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Y'all. Okay, there's like a lead into why this is news. And then we're going to talk about things that aren't news because I just want to talk about Spaceworld because I don't feel like enough people are talking about Spaceworld.
Listen, and it may be because Spaceworld is a 23-year-old event, but but
what?
people never shut up about the moon landing.
Exactly. So we should be talking about Spaceworld. The reason we're talking about Spaceworld is because one of the first Nintendo GameCubes, which was one of the prototypes that they did for Spaceworld in the year 2000, was it popped up on eBay.
Look at that Janet Jackson ass, Rhythm Nation ass, fucking GameCube squad they had. This video is amazing.
Let me show you why we're talking about Spaceworld and not just about this GameCube, because look at Spaceworld.
Look at fucking Spaceworld.
Hey, this is why E3 is dead.
Yeah.
Because E3 didn't do this.
Hey, E3, where were all your people in vinyl doing magic tricks? Where were all your people in vinyl doing stage magic?
What's up? No quick change, no vinyl? Not an ounce of latex on the scene? Anywhere?
Look at the amount of product in all of that hair. There's more product than hair at Spaceworld, and that's why Spaceworld's the future.
Spaceworld, being the future, of course, ran from 1989 to 2002, I want to say. There was only like 2 more after this, and I can't imagine why, because look how much this fucking owned.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have a feeling it had something to do with how poorly the GameCube did.
You think?
I think they ran out of money. Now, this is a prototype GameCube that has extra LEDs.
Yeah. So this is what they thought the GameCube was going to look like at the time, but the GameCube wouldn't release for another like 8 months after this event. So it was still in the works. This was an early version of it. This is where they were revealing it.
This was a mock-up. This was before 3D printers. That's like plastic from the mold.
Yeah. Spaceworld, of course, was put on by Nintendo in Japan every year. And you didn't get Nintendo Direct. You didn't get announcements at other conventions. You got Spaceworld.
You got Spaceworld. With the end of Spaceworld sort of came Tokyo Game Show, which is now what's happening, which is a platform agnostic show.
Right.
But Spaceworld was by Nintendo for Nintendo, while Nintendo was still the largest thing in the world.
And it was a live event that you could attend. It was something you could watch. It fucking owned. And it at the Spaceworld 2000, Anthony, they announced the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube.
I know.
What a good year.
It's a great year for Spaceworld.
What a good year. And I do understand. Look, I see the appeal of Nintendo going console, handheld, same. But man, I miss it.
Look.
Man, I want a Game Boy.
But here's the thing. Console, handheld, even in 2000 was same. Link cable.
It wasn't same.
Same. Link cable.
Separate Link cable.
Link cable. Link cable. And then.
Trust me, I loved my Link cable.
And then Crystal Chronicles.
See, for me, it's that extra island in Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing Island. And then that Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Where 4 people were ghosts.
Yeah.
And 1 person was Pac-Man.
Yeah. Really good.
Really good.
The Link cable was so good.
Why didn't everybody just buy 1 GameCube, 4 Game Boy Advances, and 4 Link cables? I don't understand why we didn't all just do that. Nintendo laid out a very simple and easy plan for us to enjoy gaming.
Genuinely and truly, though, having just a GameCube and a Game Boy, connecting to my Game Boy Advance and later my Game Boy SP. Island?
It was amazing.
So fun.
It was amazing.
It was like, it just felt like such a fucking feat of technology. At the time, the first time I plugged it into my GameCube, it was really like, I can't believe
we weren't even huge Pokemon players at the time, and the Pokemon Link cable stuff was also good. Yeah, because you weren't as huge into Pokemon at that point.
Yes, I
were you?
was.
So did you have like Pokemon Stadium and all that stuff with the Link?
100%. You were the late adopter on Pokemon. Pokemon was probably the first.
It's just most people normally mention that Pokemon Stadium first.
Animal Crossing first, always. Though.
Animal Crossing first,
Animal Crossing first, always. Though.
Let me tell you, Four Swords Adventures. Ooh, that's good stuff. We successfully set up just a couple times. Me and my friends successfully set up a game night where we did Crystal Chronicles and Four Swords. We only managed to do it like twice because you got to get 4 people. They have to have their Game Boy Advances with them. You all have to have Link cables. You have to own the GameCube game. You all have to be in the same place, and your Game Boys have to be charged up because the Link cable used the port that you needed to charge your Game Boy.
Yes.
Why didn't everybody just do this thing that Nintendo wanted? It was simple.
I never did any of the multiplayers because I didn't have friends. I never did anything that took more than 1 person on my GameCube. I was very lonely. So none of that. None of that at all. But Animal Crossing, me on a little rowboat, having a great time.
Listen, I'm not going to say that the 4 people that I played Crystal Chronicles with were like very dear friends,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say we found 4 people that we knew
Right.
that had the required accoutrement.
Yeah.
Were we close friends? No, that's why it only happened twice.
Right.
But boy, why couldn't I get all my friends to just buy
I
a
can't
Game
imagine.
Boy Advance, a link cable, a GameCube?
Can't imagine why.
Come on. 16
I
player Double Dash.
was very homeschooled. I was incredibly homeschooled.
Intensely homeschooled.
I was very, very intensely homeschooled. So I didn't know 4 other people. In general.
Well, the reason we're bringing this up, this is a big deal. One of those Spaceworld GameCubes
Yes.
has been found. Console Variations, if you're not familiar with it, an amazing site. Sometimes I just browse console variations.
Yeah?
I do. Console Variations is wonderful. They will show you every variation of a console that ever came out. And they found out that a prototype GameCube was for sale. And that GameCube was a Spaceworld console.
So this is what the console looked like from the listing. You can see a few differences. To me, the biggest one is the opening. This one actually doesn't have, it seems, the LEDs, but it looks like you can see where the disc would spin.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
Had a disc window. I think that font is different. The power open.
No, that looks correct
That
to
looks
me.
correct to you?
That does look correct to me. There's actually a thing on there with the comparison. Obviously, the controller is different. Look at that. You have no start and select buttons.
Don't need them.
Don't need them.
In all honesty, you don't. Really.
The shape of it's a little bit different. It's all a little bit thinner in general. It got a little bubblier.
Yeah.
You know, they rounded out that controller a lot.
The
that
handles,
bottom left
yeah.
button is different.
Yeah. Shigeru Miyamoto wanted the B button. I remember this. Wanted like the B button and the A button to be the same at first. Like it wanted all of it to be the same. And then that red button, I believe before they put a D-pad in there, was going to be like your start button.
Interesting. Very interesting. And you can even see the like demo games back here. So strange.
On their little diskies.
Yeah. God, I love the tiny discs. I loved the tiny discs.
I love the tiny discs. Now, the bottom here definitely has
There we go.
clearer screen printing, because I think this was supposed to just be shown off.
It was. So this is not a functional
Yeah.
GameCube. It doesn't have the actual components in it.
So because it was supposed to be shown off, I think they really wanted to show what these covers and these ports were for. So you have these like silver screen prints on like the serial port, the high speed port, all of that stuff. All that's in there is a prototype board that just wires that go to the LED on top. That's it.
That's it. Just to power the
That's
LED.
it.
You're not playing any games on this thing.
You can see in the bottom there, that prototype board just has sockets for the CPU and the RAM and all that stuff.
Nothing
and the
in
GPU. It's pretty cool that they found it.
It's so cool that they found it. Anthony, it has been 23 years.
Yeah.
It has been 23 years since this was showed off at Spaceworld.
Spaceworld.
And I think that that's very rad. But I also wonder, it's just like somebody gets their hands on it and what makes someone decide to list it on like eBay after 23 years, you know?
Yeah. A lot of times this stuff is in private collections and people just sort of decide what's important and not important to them, trade it out for other stuff, or like there's something new comes up on the market and they're like, well, what can I get rid of? Or just decide that a part of their collection isn't as important to them anymore.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff is video games are starting to come up in antique and estate sales now.
Wow.
Like going to antiques markets now, you'll see like NES and Super Nintendo.
I love an estate sale. I remember I was moving in with somebody and they were like, don't you think it's a little freaky to buy like dead people's things? And I was like, no, I think it's awesome to buy dead people's things.
No.
I think it's particularly great.
They're not using them. What should we do?
I don't think it's great that they're dead, but I think it's great that they're
No,
dead
I think it's
people's
particularly
things.
great that they're dead.
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked, everybody, and give me your shit. So, what are we supposed to? Every house should be a museum to a person.
Everything
we
should be
simply
thrown into landfill and set on fire.
Yeah. Now that's the thing. Now, do we throw it into landfill and set it on fire because ghosts, or do we simply preserve and store everything.
Everything anyone's ever owned.
Preserve and store it.
When I moved out of my last place, I was absolutely heartbroken to leave behind one thing and one thing only. The beautiful dining table set that I got from an estate sale from a woman who was, you just, it's fun to put together context clues from an estate sale of who a person was. Clearly, an old Jewish lady.
Yeah.
Had, for some reason, like vintage, like the cardboard boxes.
You could tell because
it
was mostly Torahs.
Yeah.
It was just Torahs everywhere.
Torahs everywhere.
It was just like, what?
Had preserved cardboard boxes of matzah for some reason all over the kitchen that they had laid out, and they were like, I don't know, is anyone going to want these for some reason? An obsessive Dior shoe collection.
Yep.
And every science journal from like the late 70s to the early 2000s. Just rows and rows of them in her house. She was the coolest dead lady ever.
Very cool dead lady.
And I bought her dining table, and I just hoped one day she would come to haunt it. I just hoped she really liked the table and would visit. I bought
7 Torahs. We need to bring back Spaceworld. We need to bring back Y2K aesthetics and Y2K marketing. I've decided that all marketing should be extreme in your face.
I agree.
It should use morphing, like CGI morphing, but like only early bad morphing.
Yes.
So like when people scream, they get really big.
Yeah.
And everything should be candy colored and translucent if possible.
God, I love translucent tech so much.
Tech shows should just be as cornball as possible. Bring back all the corniness.
Yeah, that's it. Stop trying to look cool at tech shows.
Listen,
that's so boring.
We understand that this is $1 billion industry and it's like really cool and like business now and whatever, but like, baby, you need to bring back live events with monkeys.
Yeah.
Like, make sure the monkeys are treated well, but here's the thing. There were so many more monkeys in like the early 2000s at live events.
I never got to go to a live event with the monkeys.
There were a lot of monkeys. There were far too many monkeys for tech shows. It was so strange.
I agree with Rich in the chat who said, Rich who said, all clothing must be shiny.
All shiny clothing.
All shiny clothing. Now,
lots of gel in the hair, lots of shine in the clothes.
Yeah.
Lots of flashing lights.
Yeah.
Lasers.
Lasers.
Do you know how few lasers there are in stage shows at E3 now? If anybody's going to have lasers, it should be video games. Video games should have lasers all the time. This is why there's no E3 anymore.
This is why.
It's
ridiculous.
You refuse to be a big dumb spectacle. Nobody cares anymore.
Nobody cares.
You got to bring lasers and monkeys.
Exactly. It was originally called Shoshinkai until right before that. 97 was the first year it was called Spaceworld. I also love the name. I love that it's not games. It's not anything like that. It's Spaceworld.
Spaceworld. Imagine the world, but in space.
Spaceworld.
That's That sounds like the future.
That sounds like the future because it was the future.
It's not just the world and it's not just space. It's both.
Correct.
Together. Hook a Game Boy Advance up to a GameCube.
Like, look at this. Shoshinkai in 1994 announcing the Virtual Boy.
That's right.
Are you kidding me?
Imagine going to Shoshinkai 1994 and there on a 20-foot screen, Galactic Pinball.
Right?
The most garbage video game of all time on a 20-foot high screen with lasers.
A perfect event.
Smoke.
I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Put your head into this proto VR thing.
Yeah.
It's garbage once you look inside of it.
Now, Spaceworld 1997, the first year it was Spaceworld. Look at all these announcements. Game Boy camera, Game Boy printer, the transfer pack, the Nintendo 64 mouse.
The voice recognition unit, which would turn into Hey You Pikachu.
And Pokemon Gold and Silver.
That's right. With an early Chikorita. The earliest of Chikoritas.
If I could go back in time, I would go to Spaceworld.
I would love to go to Spaceworld.
I'm putting it at the top of the list.
I didn't know about it until broadband internet. Like I heard whispers of a Spaceworld because I worked at a game store, but I didn't know much about it. We had just started hearing about E3.
Yeah.
we had like E3 was new and we had just started hearing about it. Spaceworld was like, we heard it's like E3 in Japan, but it's only Nintendo and they show off the most secret things. And then by the time I got internet, broadband internet, I was looking up Spaceworld and I was like, holy shit.
Holy shit.
How do I go to Spaceworld? How do I get my ass to Spaceworld? Now I have a Game Boy camera. I don't have a Game Boy printer. I'm trying to bring back Spaceworld step by step.
Right.
The reason I don't have
a Game Boy camera anymore, but I did.
The reason I don't have the Game Boy printer, I told you about my Game Boy camera.
Yeah, you did.
My Game Boy camera. I got the Japanese version of the Game Boy camera because it's like half the price on eBay. And they're essentially the same. I think that the Japanese interface is just a tiny bit cooler.
Okay.
Because it's just a little weirder. But when I got it, now the Game Boy camera holds up to 20 photos in its internal memory. Big deal.
Yeah.
12 of those photos were taken up in my Game Boy camera.
Okay.
Do you know what they were taken up with? They were taken up by porn, but not just porn. It was clearly some child, their parents were out of the house and they knew where the pornography magazine was. And they took photos clearly of Japanese pornography centerfolds. And they had to, because of the 4:3 nature of Game Boy photos and the long nature of centerfolds, they had to take multiple photos of each centerfold. This was early mobile pornography. This was proto-mobile pornography.
I'll be honest, clever.
Very clever.
I'll be honest, clever.
My parents aren't going to figure out how to use my Game Boy camera.
No, absolutely not.
Now I can look at the porn at 160 by 160 in 4 shades of gray whenever I want. And I don't even know what I'm doing with it. I just know that I want to look at it. I don't even know why.
Horrifying,
weird, but amazing. I did not. Oh no, if you moved, somebody's like, could you just move the camera farther away? 160 by 160. So if you moved even a tiny bit away, you're taking a picture of a gray blob.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
I just had it for Pokemon.
The camera?
Yeah.
What'd you do with the camera for? Oh, because you could put the Pokemon stickers on it.
Yeah. And it connected to Snap initially. What was the Pokemon game on the Game Boy that you could play on the Color?
I don't know, but it would have.
There was a Game Boy. There was a Pokemon. I remember it's like a red and white around the camera. It looks like a Pokeball.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was stickers. I think it was an actual.
Look it up, Saige. Look it up. But it would have connected the Game Boy probably to an N64 game because you would have needed 2 Game Boys to make that work because the camera went into the cartridge slot.
Yeah.
So there's no way it couldn't directly interact with a Game Boy game.
Yeah, it was just red, and to me that was Pokemon.
It just looked like a Pokeball.
That to me is a Pokeball.
Sure.
That I don't know. I was what, 8? That to me was a Pokeball camera, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the fucking world.
So I have my camera. It's amazing. I love it. I've taken many photos of it. I've posted photos with it. I think they're so cool looking. I don't have a printer because they used a specific size of printer paper.
Too hard to get?
It's very hard to get. There's a specific, it turns out it's the same type of printer paper that is used in taxis.
Fascinating.
But it has to be specifically for taxis.
Okay.
And you have to order it. Taxis normally have it in these huge rolls. But the Game Boy printer only fits tiny roll.
Oh.
So you have to like buy it and then saw it down.
That's wild.
It's very wasteful and terrible. But I want it because it's heat transfer paper.
eBay's got Game Boy paper.
Oh, number 89. Yeah. People have figured out that you can sell as Game Boy paper, regular printer paper now. It used to be very expensive. Well, now I'll buy some paper.
And a printer. Now you got to get a Game Boy printer.
Yeah, the printer's not too bad, in all honesty.
$50 to $80, depending on the condition. This one's $150 because it comes with the kit with the paper.
That's too many.
Yeah.
That's too many dollars.
Yeah.
And if it comes with the original paper, so that's the original paper there. That stuff probably isn't going to work.
Yeah, I would bet after all this time.
That's 30-year-old heat transfer paper.
Right. That's not
going to do it.
This owns. Anyways,
But
I love Nintendo and I love Spaceworld.
Spaceworld is about that particular part of time.
Yep.
Where it's like, well, it's not easy to transfer photos yet. What's the cheapest way we can let you have your photos?
And they did it, man.
Heat transfer paper.
So weird. I love it.
There's no MP3s yet. What if we made a CD but smaller?
Yeah.
We'll just call it a mini disc.
Yeah.
What? There's no MP3s yet?
The last Spaceworld 2000, featured, 2001, featured the GameCube again, the Game Boy Advance again, and a clip of Super Mario Sunshine in its earliest form.
Yep.
Oh, Sunshine.
I believe the first one showed Mouth's Party, which was a demo that never came to the GameCube. That was Spaceworld 2000.
Yeah.
Showed like Mouth's Party and like the Mario 128. If you wanted to see the Nintendo 64 disc drive, you went to Spaceworld.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a Nintendo 64 disc drive.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, that would own.
Have you all seen the Nintendo 64 disc drive?
But also the list of games that were also previewed, I'm shocked by this. So it had an audience of 2,000, mostly men.
No!
Heavy artillery, loud techno music, smoke machines, and women in latex skirts. There was even a huge screen at the Nintendo event stage with 2 hours of next generation presentations. A compilation trailer of Nintendo licenses running on GameCube hardware was displayed. Ready?
Yes.
Derby Stallion, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Luigi's Mansion, Metroid Prime, Meowth's Party, Mario Kart Double Dash, Cameo Elements of Power,
Cameo!
Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, and
Yes!
Batman Vengeance.
Oh, Batman Vengeance was bad.
What a year!
Hey, do you know how you know it's a Japanese event? They started with Derby Stallion.
Sure fucking did.
They were like, yo, we're showing off the most powerful video game console ever made. Give them that horse racing betting game. Let's really blow their minds. That's Japan, baby. Man, the 64DD. Ugh. It turned your Nintendo 64 into just a tower of power. Just a tower of power.
Look, it's just as big as the console itself. It's bigger. It's a little taller.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The discs are chunks. Just true chunks.
It's so funny.
Hold on. Here we go. Look at the chunky discs. I love it.
Unbelievable.
I love it. Look. What could you get on the 64DD? Oh, so many amazing games. So many amazing games. The F-Zero construction set. Doshin the Giant. Worse version than the GameCube one. Animal Crossing?
All right.
Supposedly. Originally, I think there was a version of Animal Crossing, but it may have just come out on a cartridge. They may have scrapped it.
Wow, this is a very short list, Anthony.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
No, look at this list. I got the whole list. We have Mario Artist Paint Studio, Doshin the Giant.
Doshin the Giant.
RandNet.
RandNet. That's because you were supposed to connect to the internet. RandNet was Nintendo's internet provider that they owned, and you would plug a
You just got the RandNet disc.
You would put in the RandNet disc and then plug in an N64 mouse and an N64 keyboard.
Yeah.
And that was your computer.
Hey, Nintendo loved to tell you could do business on Nintendo things.
Mario Artist Talent Studio. Now that did take your picture and use your picture for stuff.
Yep, I remember.
SimCity 64. F-Zero X expansion kit. And then Japan Golf. More Doshin the Giant.
But this one is Tinking Toddler Liberation Front Assemble.
Then more Mario Artist, and then more Mario Artist.
Now, that was Mario Artist Communication Kit and Mario Artist Polygon Studio.
Yeah, now Mario Artist Communication Kit was a disc that you had to swap in if you wanted to share your Mario Artist creations
Guys, this
over
is
the internet.
so awesome.
I fucking love the year 2000. The year 2000 is full of so much garbage. We had bigger dreams than technology, in all honesty.
I want to go back to people being like, yeah, you could work on your Nintendo console. If you wanted to do business on it, we'll give you the tools to do business on your Nintendo console.
My Sega Dreamcast came with a web browser, a keyboard, and a mouse.
Wild. What a fucking time.
You could browse the internet at 640 by 480 with no video, but that's okay. There wasn't much video at that time, but Anthony, there was no Flash player, which was a big deal.
Everything we've named.
You could play Doshin the Giant right here.
We have Doshin the Giant at home. We don't need the 64DD. We have Doshin the Giant at home.
Yeah, but but Saige.
What?
But Saige, here's the thing.
What is it, my friend?
I want big chunky plastic disc.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I want a big chunky plastic disc.
It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Not a droid. Bigger dreams than technology. Different than today.
Yeah.
We were like, how do we fit these things that we know are coming into the technology that we have right now?
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, we'll make a disc, but it'll hold, instead of holding 3 megabits, it'll hold 53?
53 megabits?
Megabits. Imagine, what are you going to do with that much space?
I'll never use it.
Now, CDs did exist at the time.
Yeah. We actually did know what to do with that amount of space.
We actually did know what to do with that amount of space, but big plastic disc.
So good.
There's no MP3 yet, so we'll just create our own worse version of MP3 until MP3 comes along.
Anthony?
Yeah.
We are 1 hour into the show.
Spaceworld.
And so far, we haven't told you anything that is newer than 2001.
Good. There's nothing good after 2001. We've decided.
Yeah, honestly, not bad. Kind of true. There's a few things, I guess. I want to talk about this. This looks kind of awesome. We are getting.
Oh yeah, let me bring it up.
Those Mario artist covers.
They're so good, right?
Oh my God, they're so good.
Look at Japan Pro. Look at those chonky boxes with the discs. They're like CD jewel cases, but thick.
I remember the Sims, the first Sims.
Yeah.
And it's thick fucking plastic case.
Yeah, like the double disc case.
Yep. So good. Anyways, it's a very good time to be a Ninja Turtles fan.
Yeah.
The Ninja Turtles fans are getting absolutely fed as of late. Between the movie coming out, which, hey, saw the trailer in theaters finally. So good.
So good.
It's just different watching it on a movie screen because I finally saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which owned. I can't believe it took me so long.
Jarnathan. Mutant Mayhem looks so good.
It looks so absolutely excellent. Everything about it. I'm so excited. I love the animation style. We've got tons of games in the works.
Yeah, let me show you. Look at all these games that are in the works.
We've got tons of Ninja Turtle games coming. The last thing that we talked about on this show was literally had the words a God of War style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Yes, that's the one that's going to be based on The Last Ronin.
Exactly.
There's a mobile game that's coming. We just had 2 games come out last year. There's a lot happening.
And that's not it.
That's not it. And I'll tell you what, this new one is the one that I'm maybe most excited for.
Splintered Fate.
This is co-op roguelike Ninja Turtles in the style of like a Hades.
Yeah, this is awesome. This owns. This fucking owns.
There they are, Ninja Turtles. There's a Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
You know Shredder from Call of Duty?
Shredder from Fortnite?
But see, like you have like different stats for every turtle. You can level things up. This is good. Nickelodeon doing more with the Ninja Turtles license than anybody has ever been able to.
Going wild
They
with
know
it.
what to do with it. And they're doing a great job.
So good. You know, I see immediately the response, too bad it's mobile. Why?
Why?
Why are we still saying too bad it's mobile? Or why have we started? We've talked about this on the show before, about how in the beginning, like the video game industry was so excited for mobile gaming as a possibility.
Yeah.
And then for some reason it became this like like Gamergatey badge of armor of like of honor / like I don't know.
I
like
think
weird
it's-
thing of like mobile games aren't real games.
I think it has a lot to do. Well, it has to do with two things. Number one, it has to do with the fact that in the beginning, some of the most popular mobile games were and still are casual games. Your puzzle games, your matching games, things like that.
And
that's fine. And that's
Stop
fine.
talking shit on casual games.
Stop talking shit on casual
Not
games.
you in particular in the chat, just in general.
But number two, and this is the bigger one, is the monetization of mobile games. You can't just buy a mobile game.
there are some.
It's
but
very rough.
I agree. It's not common for there to be. Dad so cute in the background here. We have to move this couch. It's so distracting how adorable he is.
So the thing that I am worried about is like, so these are the people that made like Vainglory, if you ever played that, Catalyst Black. So I think the concern when people say too bad it's mobile is
Microtransactions.
Is this a Ninja Turtle? Yeah, exactly. Is this a Ninja Turtle game where I only get to play one level and then it's like, Mikey sleepy. Mikey need pizza. Will you pay $1.99 to give Mikey pizza?
There's a good amount of mobile games still that are not that.
Can I just get pizza? I'm just sleegey little guy.
Sleegey little guy.
And I mean, like, look, I'm playing Mighty Doom right now, and that's the biggest problem with Mighty Doom is like, you have 20 Slayer energy. Play 4 levels, and then Slayer sleepy. Sleegey little guy, eeby neeby sleepy for ultra kill. And it's like, look, I would have paid you $20 for the game.
Yeah, 100%.
I would have paid you $20 for the game. You're never going to get $20 out of me.
Yeah.
But I think mobile games are still based on that 2 to 3% of your player base that are whales, right? That are people that are like, Slayer out of energy? Sleepy little
why
guy?
do they also have Slayer voice?
Because they're very into Doom.
Okay, all right.
It's just a pizza for Mikey.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I'm worried about is like, is this a Ninja Turtles game where I'm going to have a little bit of fun with my friends?
Yeah.
And then one of the 4 of us is going to be like, oh no, I don't have enough ooze. I don't have enough mutant ooze.
Yeah.
To go on the next level, you guys, I can't next level with you. I'm
curious to see. I'm sad to see the way that the conversation around mobile gaming is. I want mobile gaming to thrive. I love casual gamers. I think they're so significant, and I don't think that they're considered to be part of the gaming community in most senses. And I think that's
which is
really
a shame
shitty
because they're the largest part of the community. And I think this is the other thing.
Yeah,
they're the largest part of the community, and they're the community that spends the most.
Yep.
And I think people who consider themselves core gamers or whatever, who have, well, gaming is part of my identity. How are these people considered gamers when they don't consider it part of their identity? Well, because it's a hobby for them. They love it just as much as you do.
It's okay for gaming to be just a hobby.
Gaming can just be one thing that you do during the day. They might do it more than you do and then go on to other interests.
And even if they're playing Candy Crush, it counts.
It counts.
It doesn't matter. I agree. Vampire Survivors Mobile slaps. Absolutely. 100%. Fucking owns. So good. And there's a lot of great mobile games. But the current culture of microtransactions is definitely a fucking bummer. I would just love to see more people fucking gaming with shit in their pocket, you know?
Yeah.
I would love to see us embracing mobile gamers. Don't eat it, please.
Look. I'm a gaming news site from the year 2001 when Spaceworld happened.
Sell it, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are mobile games that I do love. That have much more humane sort of pricing.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing that is not in this press release, that's not in that trailer, that makes people go, ugh. Because I get it. People would love to be excited about this as long as it doesn't mean Mikey Sleegey.
Hey, Cerulean Riot, thank you for saying what we were all thinking and said one other aspect of anti-mobile gaming sentiment is because there's a large percentage of women and femme people playing mobile games, so it's another way to gatekeep. That's all it is.
It's the same
and that's
as
exactly what I meant.
It's the same as like adventure games. where it's just like, oh, you play like point and click adventure games or talking games or walking sims.
Spaces where women feel safe, embraced, fulfilled. Spaces where women feel targeted to and marketed to, where things are created in response to our desires in games are consistently considered to be outside of the realm of real games.
Spaces
and it's not a coincidence.
Like the 64 DD with Doshin the Giant and Mario Artist.
Yup.
Sorry.
Consistently, things like Sims as well.
Sorry, this is a threat to you, core gamers.
I mean, I just can't believe that it's 2023 and we're still having people be like, people who fucking mod the shit out of their Sims and spend all day playing The Sims are not gamers. Oh my God.
The Sims
is
an incredibly deep simulation game. It's right there in the name.
Like,
it's created by one of the masters of the simulation genre.
But like now the simulation genre, because it has a large population of women playing it, the entire genre has been thrown the fuck out. And it's like, hey, you don't want to admit that Civilization and The Sims are in the same category. And they are, my friend.
And they are.
They are.
And do you know what? Do you know what's going on in the traditionally male spaces of games? Ken Masters is a crypto bro, and his wife left him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Look at this. Look at what your toxic masculinity does. Ken Masters.
I think we should say the phrases together is a crypto bro and his wife left him more often.
Yeah. No, it's basically one sentence.
Yeah.
Look, I love Ken Masters. I like bad characters. I do. A character does not have to be likable or good for me to like the character or enjoy the character. Please see the world's current obsession with Succession. Right?
Yes.
You don't need to be a good character to be a character that people love. Ken Masters, I absolutely love. He's always been just like a wealthy trust fund kid who just happened to be like good at martial arts and has enough time on his hands because he's wealthy to train like Ryu does.
Yeah.
He's the only guy. He's the only other guy that can do it. And there's a reason. Ryu did it because he dedicated his life to it. Ken Masters did it because he's protected by his capital.
Right.
There's the only two people that have enough time.
Peak One said your first crypto purchase comes with divorce papers.
It really does. Ken Masters, apparently, according to Street Fighter 6, people have been like thinking about it. They've been looking at things in the beta test, and like people have been calling Ken like washed up. Like when they beat him, they're like, "You're washed up, old man," or like, "Oh, like what happened, or what happened to you," and things like that. And people are like, "Oh my God, did Ken have to go to family court?"
Yeah.
And according to this new Udon comic, the official Street Fighter comic, the answer is yes. Ken did have to go to family court. He made a lot of bad investments. He was not paying attention to his wife Eliza or their child. And so Eliza one day took the kid and left.
Hey everybody. A message to the wives of the world. Hey wives. Divorce your husbands.
Hey, everyone that's married, knock it off.
No, just the wives.
Knock it off.
Just the wives.
It's functionally the same.
No,
knock it off.
No. Wives, divorce your husbands. I'm available. Marry me instead.
Did you see Chrissy? So Chrissy on TikTok has that famous TikTok where it's like, he's just a man, hit him with your car.
Yeah, he's not the love of your life.
Yeah, he's just a guy, hit him with your car. She did
is the love of your life.
She is the love of your life. She's just a girl. Buy her a car.
Yeah.
It's very good. How the hell could Eliza be ignored? Ken is a bad husband. Yes. Ken is traditionally a bad husband. Ken in Pocket Fighter, in Gem Fighter Mini Mix, Ken is married and is hitting on the cat girl. His whole plot is hitting on the cat girl from Darkstalkers.
Yeah, that's obviously correct. Chilla said, Jeebus, I'm so glad my wife isn't watching the stream right now.
Yeah, because she'd divorce you.
Do you think it would work?
Because we're giving good advice.
Do you think she would marry me? All women marry me instead. Every one of them. No more husbands. Hi, I'm Saige Ryan, and I'm running for president when I'm old enough to run for president. And I promise to you to outlaw husbands. I will make husbands illegal. Unless
are you going to make husbands
two husbands.
Are you going to make husbands illegal before you make crypto illegal?
It's the same thing. Virtually the same.
What if making
thing.
crypto legal makes husbands more bearable? Probably would.
I say husbands can only have other husbands.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Wives cannot. Wives cannot have husbands.
Yeah.
Husbands can have husbands.
Yeah. Husbands can have husbands. Wives can have wives.
Yes.
Anybody
And
can
non-binary
marry
spouses can have
anybody
anything they want.
non-binary.
Yeah. Non-binary people can have any spouse they want.
That's right. That's right.
Vote for me
And
when it's time.
And also 64 DDs for everyone.
Stimulus.
That's right. It's a stimulus
I'm
package.
calling it stimulus.
It's a stimulus package. Everybody gets the F-Zero X construction kit. And
Yeah.
Doshin the Giant. God, you would love Doshin the Giant.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is you would really love Doshin the Giant. Hello, Doshin? Wait, hold on. I'm getting a call on my other Retroid. Hello, Felicia? From Darkstalkers? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blow up your spot on the show. But I mean, everybody kind of knows that about Ken. Oh yeah, hold on. The cat girl wants to know if you're single.
Yes. For you, absolutely.
I think we may have switch Retroids. This is the problem.
Shit. Hold on.
How would we know?
Definitely did.
How would we know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, what else?
What else? Oh, let's
There's
talk about
other
some new
stuff.
games. Number one, happy Darkest Dungeon 2 Day to everybody who celebrates. Darkest Dungeon
And also
2
with you.
is now out of early access. It has reached 1.0. If you've been waiting to play Darkest Dungeons 2, today is the fucking day, and I cannot wait to play Darkest
Cheers to
Dungeons
you.
2. I played so many hours of Darkest Dungeons. Oh, did you get into it? I got
No.
so into it. It's so your thing.
I know.
Trading cards and plague doctors?
Yeah.
And voiceover that sounds like this.
I'm in. Trust me. I understand. I just haven't, missed the boat, missed the time.
Now is the time for Darkest Dungeon 2.
Okay.
Get on it. So yeah, go download Darkest Dungeon 2.
Very cool. Happy Darkest Dungeon Day to you.
And we're still 5 days away from Zelda. That's still true. I hope you all have cleared. By the way, I can't do the show
next week
I can't do the show on Friday or our failed save on Friday. I can't do anything on Friday.
Okay.
And I can't do anything until I've put a good 60 to 80 hours into. So I might miss
You're
all.
back on Monday.
I might miss
60
all.
to 80? You're back on Monday.
60 to 80 is nothing for me.
You're back on Monday.
72 hours of me playing a video game is me walking in like this on Monday morning.
It's fine. So you walked in
You
this
play-
Monday morning.
You play that Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
about
it's
right.
gonna be
That's
like.
very accurate. That's very accurate. Let's talk about some non-games things.
Okay.
Let's talk about Discord forcing you to change your username.
Fuck this shit.
So, as you may know, if you are a Discord user, you have a username that is like, for
Fuck
me,
this shit.
not Saige, and then a little number sign / now the kids call it a hashtag.
The beautiful
and a
thing-
collection of numbers so that you don't have to have a unique username. You just have to have a unique code after.
You can have your own username. You don't have to worry about being not Sage 187913114.
Because I am, but
But you can just be not Sage, and then those 4 numbers, those 4 numbers are so important, y'all. Those 4 numbers are what keep people away from you.
yes, they are.
Those 4 numbers,
No one's just finding your Discord.
there's no way.
Unless you are in a shared server, no one is just finding your Discord.
That's right.
Because they can't guess your 4 numbers. Everyone's got their unique secret 4 numbers. And your 4 numbers don't even display most of the time. You have to go in and find them.
That's right. It's one of the best things about Discord that keeps Discord from being a place that is full of the kind of targeted harassment that other social networks are part of. Now, here's an issue. Discord has made a lot of partnerships recently with a lot of large platform holders.
Yes.
Discord is becoming officially woven into Xbox and PlayStation and all
Yeah.
of these things. And they wanna be just like every other social network now.
Where you would have to have an entirely unique username that is not used by anyone else. And if you want numbers in that username, they're not assigning them to you. You got to put them right in the username.
So this is going to be rolling out over the next couple weeks. You are going to be able to keep your old username with the numbers for a certain amount of time. If you don't choose a new username, a new unique username, you can hold on to your old one, but they do say that at some point that old one's going to go away and they will just assign a username to you. So you are being forced to participate in this.
And like, of course you are. Here's the thing. If you're doing the transition, I'm not like the problem is you forcing, because like if you're doing the transition, you have to do it and everyone has to do it. That can't really be a thing that's like some people are kind of on and some people aren't really. But I am disappointed to see them doing it. I will miss the current status of it. I will miss the great difficulties of finding my friends.
It makes it a little harder to find your friends.
But it also makes it's harder for strangers to find me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is your friends will be like, hey, here's my Discord with my number. It's
not hard.
It's not hard, but now
it's hard if someone doesn't know how to use Discord, though.
Sure.
And they're trying to appeal to this. Like, here's why they're doing it. People are always like, why? They're doing it to appeal to a larger, base of customers. Because right now, if you're a Discord user, you go and you click the thing, it automatically copies your username. But it's not particularly, it's not a great UI on that. Like, it's not particularly user-friendly for a new user.
Yeah, they want it to be like, if they say on your Xbox, hey, Xbox voice chat in this game is powered by Discord. Click this button to make your gamer tag your Discord username. That's what they want. They want it to be extremely easy for people who don't use Discord to be able to do that. I say, get fucked. I say, here's an easy thing that you could do. You could say, hey, click here to make your gamer tag your Discord username. You do it, and your Discord username, if your Discord username is Scuba Steve, you are Scuba Steve on Xbox still, but they're like, hey, just so you know, if you ever want to use Discord on the PC, which you don't because you're an Xbox gamer, you're Scuba Steve number 8143. And guess what?
Look,
that's fine because most of these people on the Xbox are never going to move to Discord on the PC.
I get how that's incredibly hard to tell people, especially like executive levels at a company. I do hear that and I go, that's convoluted. It is. It is convoluted.
It's only convoluted if they step off your platform, which the executives at Xbox and PlayStation don't want anyway. This is something that's made that Discord is doing for Discord.
Right. Discord wants you to use Discord on your phone. They want you to use it on your computer. They want you to use it on your Xbox. Of course they do. Why wouldn't Discord do things to benefit Discord? I'm not saying I like the change. I dislike the change.
My inbox is going to become such trash. I'm going to have to turn on so many different security things.
I already have all of them on. No one can even DM me on Discord.
I have a lot of them on.
Servers.
I have a lot of them on, but I don't have like all of them on. And I'm going to have to get real fucking granular with it.
You cannot DM me at all unless we are friends. As is. I have to accept a friend request. Yeah. Because even just being in servers as is, that's what it is. I pop up in our PixelCircus one. I have my own Discord server.
Yep.
And I had to turn off DMs a long time ago because also a lot of people on Discord, real fucking weird.
Real fucking weird.
Like, I think that of all the DMs that I've closed, which is all of them, I think Discord was the first one I had to close.
God forbid you ever log into an art server of any kind on Discord for any reason because you're going to start getting DMs about crypto.
I also think
it's such a bummer.
There's something about Discord that made the DMs different. I think that when I started my server and people started DMing me when I was starting streaming, the way that they reach out to you, because it feels more like texting someone.
Yes.
Like it feels much more personal.
People get too personal.
Right? Whereas like you're sending me an Instagram DM, I think there is just like there is like a level of removal from that for some reason. But like Discord DMs in particular.
Instagram DMs known mostly for being respectful.
It's not a respectful thing.
No, I know.
I don't think you're going to see this.
Right.
Thing. And a lot of people will say some absolutely fucking unhinged shit because they don't think you're going to see it.
Right. Which everybody sees their shit, dude. Don't be unhinged.
But something about Discord was just like, it really created this like it really disintegrated the parasocial boundaries
Yes.
and made it this like, hey, bud, we're friends because we're in a Discord server together.
Well, especially if it's if it's a Discord server that you run, that you're inviting people to, I think then people are like, oh, well, I'm part of this thing that you do. We're part of the group.
Yeah.
I
But
can
they
say
don't
whatever
do
I
that.
I can say whatever I want to.
Now
in
I have direct
DMs.
access to you.
Yeah.
Now we're friends.
Now we're friends.
And people don't do that as much on Twitter and Instagram for me personally.
Right.
It was an interesting, just a thought.
Somebody did thank you for spelling Scuba Steve in the correct way, the Star Wars canon way now. My favorite thing has been people, everybody was about Turgle in Jedi Survivor for a very long time.
Yeah.
Everybody was very about Turgle.
Love to talk about Turgle.
People are starting to find Scuba Steve. And I'm very excited that people are finding Scuba Steve. And I love that they snuck that in. And that's Star Wars canon. That guy's name is Scuba Steve.
I love a Star Wars sneak in.
But yeah, Discord, we know that you're going to do this no matter what. Please don't do this. This is bad.
Yeah. While on the subject of, there was a transition. I lost it. I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to find it again mid-sentence and I was like, no, I had something. I don't have it anymore. We got to talk about the writer's strike. I think we have to continue talking about the writer's strike. It's probably something that's going to come up pretty much every show.
We support the writer's strike.
We absolutely stand with the WGA.
As you're hearing more and more about movies, TV shows, you're going to start hearing about them being delayed. You're going to hear about some stuff being canceled or moved, things like that. Remember that executives and people in business are going to try to make it seem like it's because the WGA went on strike.
Right.
It is not because the WGA went on strike. The WGA went on strike because they're not being paid fairly. And these companies hate moving things because it fucks up their fancy business calendar.
Right. So when you're upset that your favorite show is delayed, when a movie that you were really excited for is delayed, it's not the writer's fault. It's not the union's fault. It is the corporation's fault for not fairly compensating and taking care of the people who make the things that you love.
That's right. But we are now starting to hear about some of those things that we are looking forward to being delayed or canceled. Obviously, we heard Stranger Things is shutting down their production. Some other things are shutting down their production. And a lot of the showrunners are like, hey, writing doesn't stop because the scripts are finished and we're on set.
Exactly.
Rewrites happen during production. We will not shoot Stranger Things without writers on set.
Exactly. And, this is going to be a very interesting time, too, because we will also see the productions that continue. And the productions that continue will mean that they are not using WGA writers. So they're probably having people who are in other positions. There are people who are like, oh, we're going to have producers just do the rewrites. Have you seen those?
Least favorite season of every show that happened around like 2008 is because of the writer's strike.
Because they pulled a producer and they were like, just fix a line. It's fine. It'll be fine. Do a rewrite.
Lost went off the rails famously.
Yeah.
When the writer's strike happened. Friday Night Lights famously went off the rails. Kids started murdering kids on Friday Night Lights, a show about small town football.
Jesus.
Friday Night Lights kind of the pre-Riverdale.
I was gonna say, it sounds like Riverdale. Geek Out said scabs. Absolutely scabs.
Yep.
And it's also difficult too, because like capitalism has created this like unending predicament of people needing to work and then also wanting to support unions. So there is like a level of empathy that I have for people who are like, but I have to do my job. I can't get fired. Like the majority of people in most industries work on a paycheck to paycheck basis. So like even taking the time off to like stand for this also impacts a lot of other people. And again, that's not the fault of the writers. It's not the fault of the WGA. But I feel conflicted in my heart for people who are like, I have to keep working because if I don't get paid and my rent doesn't get paid.
That's 100% true. But the important thing about this is a lot of other unions, their contracts are coming up soon as well.
Absolutely.
Producers Guild, Directors Guild, SAG is coming up. So
this could be such a big domino.
If you're not supporting, I mean, it's hard for people because even people you see on television who are like SAG actors who you think are making a lot of money are not.
Yeah.
Need to be working, and they are striking in solidarity now because their contract is going to come up too.
Yeah.
And it's coming up within a month, and they want to know that the industry has their back as well. This is for everybody. Now, I saw somebody say, does this mean a new Dr. Horrible sing-along blog? And I know you're goofing, and I know we love Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. So this is not me coming at you, but here's what I will say. Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog cannot happen now. Part of the thing that people are striking for now is digital rights, streaming rights, online rights. Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog was a loophole that some of your favorite people used to continue getting themselves paid during a strike. It was a loophole, so they weren't scabs at the time. If it happens now, keep your eyes out, because those people are scabs.
And now it's also, I want to clarify, because like what like new media contracts is very like nebulous. And if you don't work in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of like, what does that mean? Are they talking about like when they say streaming?
Yeah.
They don't mean this streaming. They generally mean your Netflix, your Hulu, your Amazon
Prime,
your Peacock.
We are not a SAG show.
We are very much not a SAG show. We're very much not a SAG show.
We are not streaming, like Twitch streamers can still
SAG's
stream.
eyes, we're not even a show.
Yeah. Twitch streamers can still stream. A lot of your favorite like digital shows that are like tabletop shows or pop culture shows or shows that are in this space, they can still do this because they're not part of the union. They're not part of the studio system. Studios are not paying them. They're usually independent companies.
Right. They don't have writers.
Yeah.
A lot of like the things that you picture as like new media of like digital content.
Now, Failed Save is scripted.
Failed Save is completely scripted, every word, and we never miss a word. I'm very proud of us for that. We've never gone off script in all 6 seasons. Yeah, I mean, I get emails every day from SAG now because I'm a SAG actor from when I was an actor.
Yeah.
Every day of like where the strikes are happening, what lines are popping up, not to cross them. So like, it's nice to see unions standing together. It's a complicated time for people trying to work.
Yeah.
Don't be a scab, obviously. But also at the end of the day, blame the corporations and not the individuals, unless those individuals are the mega millionaires at the top of the corporations that are taking bonuses larger than the entire industry of writers.
Did you see this fucking David Zaslav quote?
Yeah.
David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers Discovery, my old boss, and just a garbage man. David Zaslav on the yearly earnings and investing call, the quarterly earnings call, whatever it was.
Yeah.
What was talking about this is where he has to say to the shareholders, like, what's happening. And he's like, oh, we got all these shows coming up and we got this and we got that. And he's like, and I think this strike thing is going to work itself out very quickly because people love to work and they miss it. My dude, you have been at the head of a feudal system for far too long.
So funny.
The Lord looks down from his tower and says, but the serfs enjoy plowing the fields.
Of course.
What would they do if they didn't have field plowing to do?
What would they do?
What would they do? Would they wake up in the morning and do what I do? No.
No, they would hate that. They would hate this.
Ugh.
They would hate to do what I do.
Oh, they would hate these
They're
fancy
very happy.
robes. Oh,
They're very
the
happy.
silks, the fineries that I wear. Blah. No, they want to get up and just rub dirt into their faces for me. They love it.
They love it.
They love it.
So anyways, support the writer's strike how you can.
Campbell XL with one of my favorite lines, the children yearn for the mines.
Yeah, it's really good. I love that one too. Anyways, the things that were being delayed, we actually didn't tell the story. Stranger Things was one of the big ones. Stranger Things, even though already past what would be usually considered the phase of writing and into production, had held production for that reason. Blade has been halted at this time.
Blade has been halted again. And here's the thing. Blade just keeps getting halted. I'm not concerned about this time that it's being halted.
No,
because this is important.
Yeah. And if it wasn't this, it would have been something else halting Blade.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I'm worried about is something's always halting Blade. Blade's what, on its third director, third writer right now? What's going on, Blade? Hey, take this time. Take this union mandated time to really sit down and just think about what you want to do with Blade.
Yeah.
Because we've got Blade. We've got Mahershala Ali, which we all agree is perfect.
The perfect Blade.
But somehow, behind the scenes, y'all can't, it's perfect, and y'all don't know what to do with that perfection. Take a breath, take this union mandated time, and just figure out your Blade.
Just figure out your Blade, guys.
Figure out your Blade.
You've got some time to figure out your Blade.
Just do it.
There's one more thing that I want to talk about, and we can only play a fraction of it, truly a second of it.
Truly a micro
which is the Little Mermaid X Transformers mashup. Did you see this, Anthony?
No, I did not.
Please click on that link.
Okay.
I beg of you. So in a movie theater, for a screening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, two trailers played at the same time. It was the Little Mermaid live action remake trailer and the Transformers Rise of the Beasts trailer. And they overlapped in a way that aligned so fucking perfectly. But we have to be very careful. I'm going to play the audio very low to try not to get our VOD muted because obviously they're saying part of your world in the trailer.
Okay. And we're talking over it just because that's what we like to do.
But you have to be able to hear it too, Anthony. Why can't you hear it?
Well,
Come on.
my goodness.
It's so good. Look at them like literally overlapping like that. Okay, now they can't hear it at all.
This is like...
I mean, come on. And it even ends at like the exact same time if you skip right to the end of this. It's a short clip, but like...
Oh, perfect.
Look how perfect that is.
Perfect.
It turns out, actually, this was the trailer.
Little Mermaid Rise of the
wanted.
Beasts.
What we wanted, what we needed.
Little Mermaid
Rise
of the Beasts.
Thank you, Jelly PB. It is linked in the Discord if you want to actually go watch it. I highly recommend it because it's a good watch. It's a badass fucking trailer together, man.
This reminds me of, I'm trying to think of the name.
Oh, I remember we used to watch these in VR. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, Racer Trash.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Racer Trash scenes.
It is giving Racer Trash.
Where they like stream a movie on Twitch that they've edited and chopped and screwed to hell so much that you can barely even recognize the movie.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of a Racer Trash stream. Hey, Peak One. Yeah, Peak One's like, it's almost as though there's a formula for making trailers.
Such a specific formula, and that's why they align so perfectly.
They aligned perfectly.
It's so good. We'll watch the whole thing when the show ends.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
How are you?
How are you? You feeling good? You feeling all right?
Do you feel fulfilled by today's episode?
Yeah. How did today's episode work for you? Are you feeling good about I don't know, just everything? Are you gonna get yourself a Game Boy camera? You should. They're like $40.
Anyways.
You think about a 64DD because that's expensive.
That is expensive. And worth it though. That's all the show that we have time for. Thank you so much for hanging out and letting us talk about predominantly Y2K tech and a little bit of modern news. Of course, we do the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, except for when we don't at exactly 9 a.m. Pacific. So we hope you will come back and join us. If you're watching on YouTube later, you can always catch the show live on Twitch.
You can always do it.
If you're here on Twitch and you're like, damn, I would have liked to sleep in today, you can always catch it later on YouTube. The VODs stay up on Twitch as well. They're available to everybody. Just like the Discord's available to everybody because it's free to join.
It's like you can watch it whenever you want, however you want. Like Little Mermaid, Rise of the Beasts. It's like a perfect mix.
Anthony, when you're not here, where the hell are you?
That's my business.
Okay.
That's my fucking business.
We're going to go through and we're going to say... Do you want to tell them?
I'm everywhere on the internet, Carboni, except for on Twitch. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And you can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige, and here on this channel for everything all of the time.